Hello everyone, I'm the Saxy Gamer, and today we're here for just a bit of a discussion video because the Civilization VI Leader Pass came out yesterday, at least kind of came out yesterday, and it's not had the smoothest of releases. So we're going to talk about that today, and before we talk about any of this, I just want to say, please do not go and, trash talk the devs on Twitter. Don't go hating on people. I just want to talk about the issues that we've seen from this Leader Pass, so that way they hopefully don't happen again, but please don't use this as an excuse to go just, trash talk people, be mean to people, or, threaten anybody or anything like that the internet community can sometimes do. So let's talk about the Leader Pass. So the Leader Pass came out yesterday, the 21st of November, at the time of recording this video, and it was supposed to come out at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and it was stated that it would be free for anybody who owned all of the DLC of Civ VI. So Julius Caesar came out, not really any issues with adding him to the game, but we'll talk about some of the stuff with that in a little bit. And then, the Leader Pass was available for purchase on Steam. However, it wasn't being given to people who owned all the DLC, but not explicitly owned the Anthology Edition. So this was a bit strange because it still showed that you need to pay $19.99 in order to unlock the Leader Pass. So obviously something just weird here with Steam. This one I don't entirely fault on the Civ team, but yeah, I mean, it might just be something weird with Steam, but they eventually added a $0 upgrade to Steam, so that way if you owned all the DLC, you could purchase the $0 upgrade. It would give you, quote-unquote, give you the Anthology Edition, and then this was, in theory, supposed to work to actually give you the Leader Pass as well. There's only one problem with this, as I'm sure some of you perhaps have known, and that's that if you try to add it to your cart, or if you try to purchase it, you can't. It just doesn't work on Steam. I don't exactly know why. There is a workaround for this right now, actually. So the workaround is to just add anything else to your cart first, and then it should allow you to add the $0 upgrade to your cart, and then purchase the $0 upgrade along with something else. And then the workaround would be to just refund the other game, or you could do what I did and buy a 28-cent game called Call of Unity, which is probably the best FPS game that I've played in the past, I don't know, 3 years. But yeah, so if you're wondering what the workaround to it is right now, that's what it is. This will unlock the Leader Pass if you have all the DLC, but not the Anthology Edition. But this is a pain, and if you don't really want to go through the trouble of doing this, I don't really blame you. But if you don't want to do this, then unfortunately you just kind of have to hang on tight until they find some other way to fix this, I guess. But at least the workaround is an option if that is something that you are looking to do. But yeah, I would kind of hope that this wouldn't be this much of an issue in the first place, because I mean, it's been more than 24 hours after launch, and people that think they should have the pass probably don't have the pass. I'm sure there's probably been some people that have purchased the pass thinking that they should have gotten it for free but haven't. So do not purchase this pass if you have all the DLC. It's just, you will get it eventually. You might just have to wait a little bit longer, but that's part of already start of the. So that's issue number one with the pass, the disastrous launch in terms of actually getting the pass out to people. Let's see what else happened with the pass. So as I mentioned before, yeah, the Julius Caesar update came out, which was just fine, and then a few minutes later, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 10 minutes later, they came out with a update that was supposed to add the actual content of the Leader Pass to the game. However, it didn't. It reverted the game back to version 1.0 for everybody. It took away all of your DLC. It got rid of all of your settings. It reverted everything back to basically the day that Civ VI came out, which is not ideal. And the problem was, this was then stuck like this for, I don't know, maybe an hour or so. I believe I only streamed for 1 hour yesterday, and I don't believe that it was fixed by the time I finished the stream. So it was stuck like this for at least a bit. People were obviously, a bit upset about this. So somehow, instead of actually adding more content to the game, they managed to get rid of all of the content in the game. This also has seemingly reset all of my in-game settings even after it's been fixed, so obviously now you can launch the game and all the DLC is there and everything, but for whatever reason this has reset all of my in-game settings, which is a little bit annoying. And once again, it's one of those things of like, how did this even happen? Like, how did they accidentally make the game go back to version 1.0? I really don't know. I mean, part of me wonders if they perhaps have not the main Civ team working on this, the content for this pass and its release and everything. I feel like that maybe that team is working on Civ VII right now, and they have like a secondary team that's working on this. Maybe some less experienced people. I don't really know. I'm just theorizing here, but yeah, somehow they managed to revert the game back to version 1.0 for a bit and reset everybody's in-game settings. And as I continue to air my list of grievances here, let's talk about Julius Caesar a bit. So as I mentioned, Julius Caesar was actually added into the game without any issues. And I think out of all the leaders, I think that Julius Caesar is the least problematic of them all. But the one thing that I don't like with Julius Caesar is that you have to link your 2K account with your Steam account just to get access to it. And the thing that I find myself asking is, what is the point of this? Like, why are they making you jump through a hoop of that? What's the point in making you have a 2K account? And I mean, I feel like most of us probably know the answer, and the answer is probably just data collection. It's something that, companies do all the time. Basically, every social media company does it. Basically, every single company does it. So if you have your information in their system, they have your data, and they can sell it to other people. So, although Julius Caesar is technically a free leader, you're basically just paying with your own personal information. So if you happen to make a 2K account for this, I suggest that you just fill it with fake information. Why not? I mean, I'm someone who is very pro data privacy, and it really irritates me whenever they make you do stuff like this just to, unlock a leader in a game or something like that, because it's something that is otherwise free, but I would honestly rather have paid $5 for Julius Caesar than have to make a 2K account, link it with my Steam account, and not know what it is that I'm actually paying with, because, as I mentioned, that answer is probably data, and I don't know which data, which makes it a lot more shady seeming than if I had just paid $5. And maybe I'm just some sort of old man with a tinfoil hat on, but I don't know. That's my general opinion towards data protection and data privacy and stuff like that. I know not everybody shares that viewpoint, but it is definitely one issue that I have had with the release of Julius Caesar. Now let's talk about the actual content of the Leader Pass itself, and I want to just start this by saying if you don't already own all the DLC for Civ VI, absolutely do not pay $20 for this pass. That is egregious. I mean, sure, we're only at, 1/6 of the content that is going to be released for this pass, but if the rest of the content is anything like these first 3 leaders, then it's still egregious. It's basically a scam. So fortunately, though, right now the game is on a massive sale on Steam. The Anthology Edition, I believe, is only $30, which is still, that's still a really good deal, because all of the other DLC for Civ 6 and the rest of the game is still fantastic. But after this sale, though, if you are considering buying this Leader Pass, do not buy the Leader Pass by itself. Just wait for another massive sale, and then buy all the DLC then and get the pass for free. So what is the issue that I actually have with the pass? Well, the main thing is that the new leaders honestly just feel uninspired and just totally uninteresting, honestly. I feel like when they made these leaders, they didn't consider the civilization abilities whenever they were designing them, and they also didn't consider the abilities of other leaders in the game to actually make these leaders interesting. I go through these pretty fast just because I don't want this video to end up being like 20 minutes long. But let's start off with Abe Lincoln. So Abe Lincoln gets +3 loyalty on his industrial zones and loses 2 loyalty on his plantations, which this part of the ability is just like, I guess it exists. Like, I feel like in 99% of games, this is probably going to make borderline no difference. It's just not a fun ability, Like, it's not like whenever I put down industrial zones in most games, I'm going to be like, oh, yes, +3 loyalty. Or, whenever I'm having a city that's at plus, 40 loyalty, I'm going to be like, oh, no, if I put down a plantation, I'm going to lose 2 loyalty. It just feels like some random ability that they just kind of came up with. But he at least does a somewhat of an interesting part of the other part of his ability. So he gets a free melee unit after constructing industrial zones in their buildings, and the free unit does not require any resources to build or maintain. It also gets +5 combat strength. This part is at least a little bit more cool, obviously very domination focused, which doesn't really mix very well with the rest of America. Obviously, they're mostly like a more peaceful diplomatic type of civ. I guess then you can make better use of the P-51 Mustang, but the problem is then the film studio becomes basically useless for you. If we take a look at Mbane Nzinga, she's going to get +10% yields if on the same continent as her capital, and -15% if the cities are settled on a different continent from her capital. This one is one of the ones that it's a very strong ability, actually. Like, I don't think it's bad. I think it's actually very good, but it's just kind of boring, honestly. And it's basically like a less interesting version of playing the Maya in this game. So the Maya basically get this whenever they are settling within 6 tiles of their capital. However, they also have a lot of other things going on that kind of makes them more interesting to play. This one is fairly boring in comparison. It only applies you just have to be on the same continent. So it's an ability that is very similar to another leader in the game, and the other thing is, this is just straight up better than the ability that it replaces for Mvemba. So as Mvemba, this is the ability that makes it so that way you can't found a religion, and the weird thing where you get the follower beliefs of religions in your cities or whatever the ability actually is. I don't even remember because it's not a good one. But so it basically replaces a useless ability with a good one, which at this point, why even bother playing Mvemba? With this leader, it kind of takes out any of the point of actually playing Mvemba because then you can play Congo with just better abilities. It doesn't really make much sense to me as to why this is a thing. Once again, it's an ability that is basically already in the game, but with another leader, and it's a leader for a civilization that is just straight up better than the other leader. So it doesn't make much sense to me. And then I guess real quickly with Saladin, Saladin gets 100% flanking and support bonuses to all combat and religious units. This one I actually think is for the most part kind of fine, but once again, it's just kind of boring. Like, I'm sure a lot of people probably don't even know that what flanking and support bonuses are in the game. Most people won't really, have much of knowledge of how to use them. And it's one that it will be impactful, but like, it's just not very fun. I should mention though the one for Julius Caesar I think is actually okay. It is an ability that basically no other civ in the game has, and it also does work well with Rome's abilities. So I think that one is not quite as bad as the other ones. But just in general, at least to me, these abilities just feel kind of boring. They're not very interesting. They're kind of boring. And I mean, this is something I've said for a while now. I've not thought that Civ needs more DLC because it kind of has enough content in the game right now. Any more content that you add is just going to have this same problem with where, like, there's a lot of stuff already in the game. Anything that you add is going to be fairly similar to what's already in the game unless you change things very drastically. So it just feels like extra bloat adding into the game for, like, you could have minor differences to one civilization, which just feels, it feels kind of scummy in comparison. It makes the content in the game feel like, like what's the point of adding this content if it's just minorly different from other content in the game. So I really hope that for the rest of the leaders in this pack, they at least, make things a little bit more cohesive with the civilizations, a little bit more, like a little bit more like there's actually a point in playing these leaders rather than just like, minorly change up your play style as Arabia, like, things like that. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on all this stuff in the comments section below. Once again, please do not go leave hateful comments on anybody's, social media pages or anything like that. That's not the point of this video. It's more so just to kind of call out the issues that have been going on. And I'm sure that the devs at, Firaxis and the Civ team probably are aware of all the issues that they're having here. Well, maybe except for the ones with the gameplay issues, but yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think that this leader pass is a bit disappointing and a bit just like, it feels rushed and incomplete to me? But let me know if you have any thoughts on that in the comment section below. Thank you everyone for watching. I'm the Saxy Gamer. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you're looking for some more Civilization 6 content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.